Hello. It's me, it's Hala. And today we're going to talk about the five languages of love. So the first person who mentioned the five languages of love was actually Gary Chapman. And I'm just going to explain in details. I did a little PowerPoint, so this time it can be a bit more interactive for you to really understand what are the different kinds of love languages that we might have, and what happens when our love tank is not filled. What is a love tank? What is the in love versus the true love? So let's get started. So what is your love tank? So we need to know, and most psychologists will tell you that love is a primary emotional need. We all need it. We are social beings and we all need to feel loved. So when we are kids, our love tanks get filled according to our language of love. And we will see the 5 types of languages of love. We need to know one thing, that kids, when they misbehave, it's actually because they're craving to fill their love tank, because the love tank is empty. You know, they're craving for the attention, they're craving for the love of the caregiver. Now, this actually, the love tank doesn't only stay with us during childhood. It actually stays with us all throughout adulthood, you know. So this is where we always want to replenish it. We always want to feel that, you know, we're filling that love tank up. Okay, so you would see that child psychologists, every child has a certain emotional need that must be met to have emotional stability. So this is what we're talking about, the love tank. And if their love tank is not filled or their needs are not met, this is where the child feels that they're not loved. Now, there are different types of needs as well. When we need an adult to help us and the adult doesn't come, or we don't find an adult around us to constantly take care of our security needs, or to reconfort us when we need it, this is where, for example, we can go into hyper-individualism, where we believe that, I can do everything by myself, I don't need anybody to help, but that's a topic for another side. Now, I would like you to see how we use the word love, and it explains a behavior, right? So I say, for example, oh my God, I love this dress. And then after I say, oh my God, I love this person, or I love this color, or I love this object, or I love this situation. And we see that we actually use the word love as well to express a behavior. And maybe this is how you can associate it to the love language, because the love language is actually a behavior. You know, there's 5 types of love language, which are, for example, word of affirmation, that is a behavior. Receiving gifts, that's another behavior. Quality time, that's again another behavior. So it's important to know that maybe at sometimes during our childhood, we felt that this love tank was actually empty. And this is where, as well, what is important to take into consideration, it's that maybe our mom, or maybe our dad, or anybody who was taking care of us, actually, their love language was different than ours. And the love language that they were talking to us was different than our love language. So let's say I'm somebody who cares about quality time, and my dad keeps on, or my mom keeps on showering me with gifts, but that's my last love language. You know, my primary love language is actually quality time. And my parents might think that, you know, if I buy her gifts and I give her gifts, that's mean that I love her, and this is how I show her that I love her. But I'm not receiving that love. And why do I use this comparison? Because it's important as well that if you're in a relationship, or even with your family, try to figure out what is your partner's love language. Try to figure out what are your parents' or your siblings' love language, or even your friends. And this is where you will see that maybe sometimes you don't speak the same love language, and that's why you might feel at times not loved. But that person is just actually talking another language. And it even goes to the point, so for example, if you don't know how to speak French and I'm talking to you in French, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. And it's exactly the same thing when it comes to the love languages. So as I was saying earlier, when it came to couples and relationship, with love, where we have these intimate relationships with our partners, we actually go through two phases. Now, the first phase, which is usually the phase that everybody sticks to and stays on, and this is why most relationship end and they don't go into the second phase, is the in love phase. Now, just for you to know, this is an illusion. This is euphoric. This is what we call the honeymoon period. You know, we want to please the other, we flirt with the other, we don't show our true colors because we're all about, you know, securing that person and bringing that person, and we believe that we accept everything that that person would do, would say. We would put our own values or our own beliefs on the side just to be with that person, and then after, it's like we're so much taken by the obsession, this illusion that it is forever. Now, when I tell you the illusion that it is forever, it can be forever. But when I say the illusion, it is forever, we think that it's going to stay like this forever in this euphoric and, you know, honeymoon phase. Where the honeymoon phase usually ends at about 2 years, let's say a year and a half, 2 years. This is the honeymoon period. Now it can be shorter, but usually this is how long it will last in most cases. And you know, even your body, the temperature is high. We have an instinctual force of giving. This is where we give ourselves entirely. You know, we give everything to our partner, and we tend sometimes to kind of forget ourselves, or even we don't even allow the partner to come out and to show us who they are. And then actually what happens there is that when the honeymoon phase goes away, then the reality sets in and we're like, okay, what's going on here? Now, that's when normally the true love or the mature love should come in place. There's one thing that is very interesting for you to know, is that when you're in the honeymoon phase, or when you're in that in love phase, right? It's not you actually that's controlling all of it. It's your brain. The chemicals, your pupil dilates, the dopamine is flooding in. And this is why you create this obsession about your partner. You wake up in the morning, you're thinking about your partner. You go to sleep at night, you're thinking about your partner. And it's like they take your whole life, and everything you do is in relation to them. Everywhere you go, or even what you would eat, it becomes very extreme, to the point that you're totally obsessed by your partner and you're doing everything for your partner. Now, when the true self is out, this is where the passion goes. We begin to assert ourselves. You know, we won't be scared anymore to show when we're angry or when we're sad. There's an illusion of intimacy that happens over here. That illusion of intimacy that happens over here actually evaporates. You know, we think that we were intimate. Now, there's a very big difference between intimacy and sexual intercourse. Intimacy doesn't always have to be sexual, and we will see this through the love languages. But just to clarify this, that intimacy is not only about the sexual. You can have intimacy without the sexual. So here we have this illusion that there is the intimacy, but that illusion, when we let our true self come out, it actually evaporates. And then the desires, the emotions, and your behaviors start to go more towards the direction of you asserting yourself. So some believe that when this phase is over, the honeymoon phase is over, it means that the relationship is over. You know, so it's, or they stay in the relationship and they keep on being miserable, or they leave, they skip, you know, they jump out of the ship and they try again somewhere else. This generation, our generation, this generation in particular, goes for the, you know, I'm going to just get off the ship and I'm going to try again. And they don't put the effort into it. Whereas the later generation used to be like, okay, khalas, I'm miserable and I have to stay there. You know, I don't have a choice. I need to stay there. Which as well is not a healthy way to do it. So this is the first love language, right? The first love language is the word of affirmation. Now, just before starting there, I just want to tell you that I will be doing lives on relationship and the work that needs to be given in relationship and how to build a solid, connection with our partner. Just to talk here, it's important to keep the emotional love tank full. And how do we keep our emotional love tank full? Well, we share with the people around us what is our love language. We try to understand what is the love language of others in order for us to perceive that this is actually their way of telling us that they love us. And it's very important for us to communicate as well. How do we, what language do we speak? So the real love or the true love cannot start unless the in-love phase is over. They cannot work simultaneously together. It's emotional in nature. It's not obsessive. You're not obsessing about your partner as soon as you wake up in the morning or at night when you go to sleep. You have your own time, your own identity, and then you join together. You find each other together, but you're not obsessing constantly about that. You unite using reasoning and emotion. So if you want, in a way, this is the balance between the mind and the heart. They work in sync. They're in balance there because you unite through that. It requires a lot of effort and a lot of discipline. And I'm sure that you have heard a lot of times when they tell you, yeah, it's not easy. It takes effort. It takes work. It takes work to make a relationship work. Yeah. I'm not talking about sacrifice. I talk about compromise. When you feel that you're sacrificing already, there's something there that's not really. And we usually tend to sacrifice in the in-love phase. Right? In the real love phase, this is where we compromise. We learn that, you don't have to be like me. I don't need to be like you, but we can find the middle ground. And if I want to come towards you, that's fine. And if you want to come towards me, that's fine. Okay, but we find our middle ground. So, for example, if I'm somebody who likes to go to the beach and I don't like the mountain and my partner likes the mountain, I could once in a while go up to the mountain, or if not, find a middle ground where, maybe my partner doesn't like to go to the beach. So we find kind of like a middle ground, being able to do things together, but we compromise. And the real love, mature love, this is where we learn to compromise. It's not sacrificing. So the choice in giving and doing efforts to benefit the other, it's a choice, it's your choice to give. It's your choice to do the effort for the other person. So it's not just giving like that, it's a choice that you're doing to give. And it needs to go against the instinctual force that we have of giving. Instinctively, we want to, instinctively, we have this force inside of us, and we need to go against it. The rational love, it begins with the attitude of, I choose to look out for your interest. I choose. I have the power over this. I am not in an euphoric state or, the fireworks are going in my brains and the dopamine and everything. This is my choice. So you walk through reality with the attitude of love. It's an attitude. Love is an attitude. You have this attitude. I love you and I choose to look out for your own interests. I decide to meet your needs for love. So this is why love is an attitude. And this is the real love. The real love, the mature love, is an attitude. Whereas the other one is more of instinct. So now coming and talking about the first love language, which is the first one we're going to talk about, which is the word of affirmation. Now, in all the love languages, we need to know that there's several dialects. So here are the dialects that we're talking about, right? So the word of affirmation, the dialect is, for example, verbal compliment, word of appreciation. Those are straightforward and simple statements. Excuse the Z over there, but simple statements. For example, verbal compliment can be like, you look so pretty, or you look so good in your suit. These are straightforward, they're simple statements. Encouraging words, and it's important to use encouraging words, or for us to receive encouraging words when this is our love language, when it's simply if your partner's love language is word of affirmation, let's say, then you should apply these or do an effort into applying these, because this is how they would understand love. If your partner or your child love language is word of affirmation and you keep on giving them gifts, the love tank is not going to be full. So the word encouraging words is actually for you to give them courage in areas where they feel insecure. For example, if the person comes up and says, like, your child, for example, said, "Mommy, I'm not going to be able to do this," or "Daddy, I'm not going to be able to do this." Well, you can tell your child, for example, "Yes, you can. I'm sure you can. Look, you have this and that," and bring up the resources and show him that he is capable of doing that, that he is strong enough to do that. So it's simply inspiring the courage in areas of insecurity. Kind words. Kind words is the tone of voice. A lot of time I can say the same sentence or the same word, but it depends on my tone of voice. And we pick up a lot on the tone of voice, even more than we imagine. Therapists, psychotherapists are trained to detect the tone of voice, but we kind of do it instinctively. We detect it to be able to see what's underlying, what's going on, or to realize that something is happening. But instinctively, us all as human beings, if I come up to you right now and I say, "Yeah, the smug is nice," that's aggressive, that are not kind words. But if I come and I tell, "Oh yeah, the smug is really nice," so kind words towards the other person, it's like, "I love you. I love you." I'm saying exactly the same thing, but it's the tone of voice and the wordings that I'm using. So it's very important to use kind words with people who their love language is word of affirmation, or kind words is how we perceive, we understand, we receive our love. Humble words, to request and not demand, please. What is as well very important, when we ask someone to tell us how they feel, using humble words, forgiveness, expressing that, saying, asking sorry, or even when we have forgiven the person for what they said, to express that, it's okay, I forgive you, it's good, thank you for apologizing, I accept your apology. It's very important to place that in. And obviously on the 3-letter word that makes everybody kind of shiver, and shiver in a good way, it's the "I love you," right? I love you. How important is it for someone to hear that, the "I love you," to really feel loved, and mean it, and really mean it, not just like that, just not saying it just to say it. So compliments go further than just compliments. Even when you give a compliment to someone, it goes a long way for that person. It changes their day, it changes their mood, it puts them in a better place. The second one is the quality time. Quality time. So that dialect is quality listening. You focus your attention when you're listening to someone. You're present. You're mindful for the other person. You're not just there physically, but you're really there for that person. You're listening to what they have to say. And it's not you waiting for the response. You're really listening and taking in and soaking in what that person is telling you. And you make them feel that you're really there with them at that moment. Quality conversation is focused on what is being said to us. What are they saying? Listening sympathetically, learning to listen is very, very hard because we always have the response there, but learning to talk as well, not just sympathetically, but as well in a self-revelation way, you're revealing yourself. And when we're having a quality conversation, it's very important to reveal our emotions, it's not just listening, but when somebody is talking to us and everything, we can just simply go like, yeah, I felt like this at that moment. This is how this made me feel. This is actually how, you're sympathetical, but in the same time, you're relieving a piece, you're revealing a piece of you. Sorry for the twist on. Quality activity. So, it's not just about listening, it's not just about having that conversation, but it's as well about spending time and doing something like where both of you are present together in the same time. It can be horseback riding, it can be going on a walk, it can be snowboarding, skiing, I don't know, just any activity that you guys are sharing together and you're fully present and immersed together. And when you have children, by the way, when this is their love language, it's very important to spend this moment with them, to be fully present. You can be sitting on the couch with your phone and say, oh yeah, but I'm here, but you're not. You're on your phone, you're not with your child. And this is what I mean about being mindfully present. It's by you really being there. It's better if you can give 15 minutes full attention to your child than being next to them for 2 hours with your phone in your hand, because anyways, that message that you're sending, or to the person, your partner, anything, is like, you're not that important. My phone is more important than you. If their love language is quality time, they're not going to feel that their love tank is being filled. Receiving gifts. So receiving gifts basically are like tangible gifts, but as well the gift of self. So the tangible gift for people that's their love language, they actually perceive and see that tangible gifts is a visual symbol of the love. The person has took the time, saved some money, took the time and went and thought about them and bought that gift. It's not just of that. So it comes in all shapes, form, and sizes. It doesn't have to be something super duper luxurious. It could be just like a flower. It could be like, I don't know, any kind of gift. It could be you're passing by the bakery and you see the favorite cookie and you just bring it with you, The gift of self is being fully present there with you in a moment where they might have been doing something else. So that is basically, let's say, I'm somebody who enjoys watching Formula One, right? And it's Sunday and the Formula One is on, and my partner loves language as receiving love. So what I would do, I don't really have to buy a gift, but what I would do, I'll be like, okay, so you know what? I'm not going to watch the Formula One today. Let's go and do something together. And this is where I'm giving the gift of myself. So it doesn't always have to be something tangible that you're buying, but it can be as well something that you're letting go of for your partner, and your partner sees that and perceives that. So it's receiving in one form or the other. The physical touch. So this is where I say the physical touch or intimacy, it's not always sexual. The physical touch can, so it depends on the cultures. Some physical touches are appropriate and others are inappropriate. So I'll just give you an example. When I talk about culture, it's, for example, if you go to France, men or women, you're going to have the kiss on the cheek. In Italy, the same thing. Whereas in the Middle Eastern countries, you don't do that. In France, for example, if a guy sees a girl for the first time, il lui fait la bise, the kiss. But if you're going to do that with a Lebanese girl, you will see that her first reaction, the body, is to, shake his hand. He gets shocked, like, wow, why? And she gets shocked, why is he coming into my personal space? So this is what it has to do with culture. But appropriate could be holding the hand, And then you have the implicit and explicit. So implicit physical touch is basically when you're really present, touching the person, giving them a massage, a foot massage, caressing their hair, or I don't know, any kind of movement that you're doing where touching their body physically. The explicit touch is sometimes you would see that, for example, you're passing by your mom or you're passing by your brother and you'll just like tap them on the shoulder just to tell them, hey, I'm here, And the people who receive their love language as physical touch, it's basically that's how they receive it. So you can just be passing by and you just tap them into, hey, this is how they will fill their love tank. Finally, the last one is actually the act of service. So what is act of service? It's when, for example, you do something for the other person, or when somebody does something for us, right? Because we're talking about how we receive the love languages and what are the love languages. So if, for example, I need eggs and my brother just goes out and gets me eggs, I receive that. That's filling my love tank because, that person went and did something, ran an errand for me, or my partner went and changed the oil in my car. I perceive this as, I'm filling my tank, my love tank, helping me with an app that I don't understand how to use it, or even helping me with, I don't know, reading the instructions, or the manual of a new appliance that I got. Or if the appliance is not working anymore, then fixing this appliance for me, Now, it's very important to do the difference between being a doormat or a lover, right? Sometimes a lot of people, and we use this excuse as, when we say, for example, yeah, but I did it because I love him. Now, we have to be very careful when we say that. So it's very important that whatever we're doing out of love, and we're not being actually the doormat of another person, and the other person is simply just not doing anything. And we're just like providing more and more, giving and doing all of these things for him. Now, before we end, I would just want to really mention this about the love and the behavior that we have, and sometimes how we as partners, we as kids, parents, siblings, whatever we are, friends, how sometimes we use love as an excuse for a behavior that we've done or that we're doing, and justifying the behavior that we do. When a wife, for example, has an alcoholic husband, and that comes back home and breaks everything and makes a total mess out of the house, she cleans up behind him, and her thing is like, because I love him. But that actually is not love. That is actually harming the person more than, showing that person love, because you're actually allowing that person to stay within that behavior. Or even parents do that a lot with their children. They allow them to do certain things or behave in certain ways, or act in a certain way, and say, yeah, but I love him. The mom who keeps on constantly cleaning behind her son, even though he's 50 years old, and she says, yeah, but I love him. Now, I know that this is going to create some friction within the Middle Eastern mentality of, yeah, but what's so wrong about, but no, that's not a normal behavior. You're actually not allowing your son, or the mom is not allowing her son to learn how to be independent, to learn how to take care of himself, to learn how to, be totally. I think that parents are kind of scared when their child become independent of them. They feel that they don't have any more value, or their role, and this is an eye-opener. And I will be doing a subject, especially a live, especially about that. So that was just as well to explain a bit how love can be used as an excuse for certain behaviors. So I actually here kind of share my primary love language, which is actually quality time. Now, my secondary love language is word of affirmation. And then, well, receiving gifts is the last one. But the reason why I share this with you is because actually you can, and I do have the test for those who are interested. I'd actually tell you to maybe book a call with me. You can go on the group, find the link, and book a call on your true self-discovery. And we can dive deeper together. There are quizzes that you can do to find out what is your love language. And something that would be cool actually is to do it with your partner, and really figuring out what is their love language, what is your love language, and then how to work that together. Or you can even do it with your child. You can even do it with your parents. And maybe, kind of like that could be kind of a healing thing, is to actually maybe figure out that all these years I thought that daddy maybe didn't really love me or care about me, but he did, because he showed me love just in a different way, not in my language. And now that I understand that, then the pain or anything that has been caused can be healed. And this is actually something that I teach in the masterclass, Value Yourself. So here you go. These are the 5 languages of love. Book your True the Self-Discovery call, and let's dive in deeper together. So usually these live, as you see there, I don't let them go very much more than an hour, because I know that it can kind of be boring to constantly listening to someone talking for a whole hour, though I don't find myself boring at all. I know that some are cracking up, but yeah, so I would like to leave space for, if you want to ask any questions, if you have anything that you would like to share. And if not, well, I would bid you farewell for this week, and we could see each other next week. So yeah, so here we go. I hope that you enjoyed it.
It was lovely. Thank you so much, Hala.
Thank you. I'll see you next week. And the subject is actually going to be about the attachment styles.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.